in Abosli Rabisho, we are in prison. Prison, no, please help us. So, this woman has died this morning.
In 2018, I received a Facebook message. I started posting screenshots of those messages on Twitter, and it ended up being a Twitter thread that got eventually millions of views. My number, my name were passed around many different detention centres. I was in communication with people who weren't allowed to have phones, who were sending me very regular updates on what they were going through.
In de laatste 6 jaar zijn meer dan 120.000 migranten en vluchtelingen die vanuit Afrika Europa wilden bereiken, onderschept door de Libische kustwacht en teruggebracht naar Libië. Ze kwamen er terecht in een van de vele gesloten detentiecentra in mensonterende omstandigheden.
Each detention centre has its own particular definition of hell.
Sally Hayden, correspondente voor The Irish Times, had net naam gemaakt in de regio met een onderzoek naar corruptie in Sudan. Het was dus geen toeval dat de vluchtelingen net haar contacteerden. Ze wilden dat ze de wereld liet zien wat er met hen gebeurde.
This is a photo that was sent me from Zintan. There was huge medical neglect here. Potentially 80% of the people there had tuberculosis. An average of one person was dying around every fortnight. There was an issue where there were such regular deaths and people who were dying were not being buried. So the bodies were just being kept in the detention centre. I met people who had eventually got out of this detention centre years later, and they said they had lost like 25 kilos while they were being held there. This is a baby that was born in Abu Salim detention centre. At the time there was no medical care. The people who were helping her, they put plastic bags on their hands for hygiene to try and assist. A lot of the time it gets lost that there are women and children locked up in these centres or trying to reach Europe. That's partially because a lot of them are very frightened of their photo being shown because they're worried about retaliation, sexual violence, sexual abuse, things like that.
Libië is van oudsher een migratieland, maar na de val van het regime van generaal Gaddafi in 2011 verviel het land in totale chaos. Sindsdien willen veel migranten en vluchtelingen er weg. In 2017 sloot de Europese Unie een akkoord met de door de VN erkende regering in de hoofdstad Tripoli. Die kreeg voor miljoenen euro's steun om de migratie naar Europa in te dijken.
L'Europe a une responsabilité pour mettre fin à cette situation scandaleuse qui ne peut durer.
De precieze details van het akkoord tussen Libië en de EU zijn nooit bekendgemaakt. Maar de VN krijgt geld om toe te zien op de menswaardige behandeling van de migranten en vluchtelingen in de detentiecentra.
One of the things that's been going on is there's no actual registration, there's no list of who is inside each place, and that means that it's much easier to exploit them. They were worried guards could sell them to traffickers, that they could just be disappeared, that they could be tortured to death and nobody would actually know because there was no record that they had ever been there.
Het toezicht door de VN is ook zeer relatief. VN-medewerkers krijgen maar beperkte toegang tot de centra en, volgens de migranten en vluchtelingen die Sally Hayden contacteerde, krijgen ze geen reëel beeld te zien van wat er echt gebeurt.
Il y a des motifs raisonnables de croire que des crimes contre l'humanité ont été commis en Libye.
Ça, c'est ce qu'affirme une mission d'enquête de l'ONU dans son dernier rapport.
Dit jaar stuurde de VN-Mensenrechtenraad opnieuw een fact-finding mission naar Libië. Hun rapport was vernietigend, ook voor de Europese Unie.
Although we are not saying that the EU and its member states have committed these crimes, the point is that the support given has aided and abated the commission of the crimes.
we need to all be questioning why we have let that happen. Particularly as Europeans, we need to be asking ourselves that every day, I think.
Het was een onderzoek dat Sally Hayden bij momenten mentaal sloopte. Het leverde haar ook doodsbedreigingen op.
There was always a risk assessment going on. It's like, are we at greater risk by staying silent, or are we at greater risk by going public? And sometimes the risk is staying silent.
Maar intussen blijft de horror in de Libische detentiecentra voortduren.
If Europeans knew that war crimes, crimes against humanity are happening in their name to keep people out of the continent, off our territory, would they stand by that? I'd assume no, but maybe they would.